More now on the breaking news we told you about Mayor Adams' corruption case. The former U.S. Solicitor General, who was brought in to help a federal judge decide whether to accept the DOJ's request to dismiss those charges, has filed his argument.
Alice Gaynor just read through those documents, and she joins us now with more on what she found. Alice?
Quite a few pages, so we are still going through them all. But basically, Paul Clement, an independent prosecutor appointed by federal judge Dale Ho, was brought in. And in his 26-page brief filed just a short time ago, Clement concluded the court should dismiss the case with prejudice, meaning that would be that. Writing, the materials that have already been made public provide ample reasons to order dismissal with prejudice. The government's own recent filings reflect a belief that this prosecution was initiated in bad faith. Originally, the DOJ requested it dropped without prejudice, meaning charges could be filed in the future. Adams' attorney filed a motion recently to dismiss with prejudice. The DOJ argued the case interferes with Adams governing the city, as well as his ability to cooperate with President Trump's immigration agenda. At a hearing a few weeks ago, we heard from the DOJ and Adams' attorney, but there was no one to argue the other side. That's why the judge brought in someone independently to take a look. Adams was indicted in September, accused of taking illegal campaign contributions and luxury travel perks from a Turkish official. He has maintained his innocence. The acting U.S. attorney for the Southern District of New York resigned over the request to drop the case, as did several other prosecutors. Now we wait to see what the judge decides. He may want to hear oral arguments, and if so, those would be March 14th. So just waiting on the judge, see what he decides.
All right. So, I mean, in the meantime, this independent lawyer, attorney, looked at the case and said, yes, I agree with the DOJ. That's the bottom line, right?
Right.
Okay.
So, and he's brought in just to simply help the judge reach a decision. You know, what could he do? Because, again, he didn't hear the other side of things. You know, there was no one there arguing why the case should still be brought. So he wanted someone on the outside, not involved in the case, come in, take a look. What do you think? And so that's what Paul Clement thinks.
Okay, Alice, thank you for that breaking news. We do appreciate that. The independent prosecutor appointed by the court in the mayor's corruption case just filed his argument advising the judge to dismiss the case with prejudice, basically meaning prosecutors cannot refile the charges. Adams is accused of bribery and conspiracy. Attorneys for the DOJ argued the case prevents the mayor from cooperating with the president's immigration crackdown. Political reporter Marcia Kramer has followed this case from the very beginning. And Marcia, basically, this is a big win for the mayor.
It is a big win for the mayor. It's a big boost for Mayor Adams if the judge decides that he agrees with the independent counsel that he brought in, because the ruling goes even further than the Justice Department asked for, and it would end the case immediately. It's also a big loss for both Common Cause and one of the mayoral candidates who filed court papers demanding that the judge ignore the Justice Department's ruling and force the mayor to go to trial. And in fact, one of the mayor candidates asked for a special prosecutor to go even further than what the Justice Department had done.
So this independent prosecutor has now filed his recommendation. The judge now needs to read it. What's next?
So what's next is this. The judge, Dale Ho, has to decide whether he wants to have oral arguments, which would be, by the way, on March 14th, or he will just rule based on the submissions that were based on the positions of the Justice Department, the mayor's lawyers, and now the special outside counsel. Now, the judge has three options. He can agree to dismiss without prejudice, meaning the case can be brought up again. He can discuss with prejudice, which means it's done, that's it, we're over. Or he could decide that the mayor has to go to trial. That seems less likely now that the person he appointed says, get rid of it altogether.
And another factor in all of this is the campaign and what happens next after that. And will it affect his polls? Who knows?
Well, you know, here's the thing. The big question is whether the mayor is actually going to run for re-election. He's given very strong statements over the last several days that he intends to run. But so far, he hasn't raised money. He hasn't hired a full-time staff. And so far, we don't know about whether he's gone after petitions. He needs 4,000 signatures to get on the ballot. So a lot has to be decided in the next few weeks, because he has to get the petition signed by the beginning of April. That's not a lot of time. He has a few weeks. He has to make a decision. We don't know when the judge is going to rule.
Marcia, it's always good to get your take on things. Thank you.
Okay.
Stay with us. We've been following the Adams case every step of the way. And of course, we'll bring you the latest tonight at 11. And you can find all of our coverage at cbsnewyork.com.